Hello, I'm Zoe from Phoenix Life and Wellbeing Coaching, and today I'm going to talk about talking. We get told all of the time that it's really good to talk, but starting those conversations and talking about some things that are really important to us or sometimes upsetting for us can be really difficult. So that's what I'm talking about today, and I'm going to cover it from two different perspectives. Firstly, from the perspective of the person who wants to talk, and secondly, from the perspective of somebody who is approached by somebody who wants to talk. This can be an uncomfortable conversation, it can be a very emotional conversation, but it can also be a very helpful conversation and can be that first step to somebody getting the support that they need. So it is really important, as uncomfortable as it is important to start that conversation, but also to give that best possible support if somebody comes to speak to you. So from the perspective of the person who wants to talk, it can be really difficult, and we know what it's like. Sometimes it's really hard to find the words or even to try and understand it for ourselves, let alone be able to communicate or translate that to somebody else. And that's quite often where the challenge is, or it's the blocker that holds people back from starting those conversations, is because they worry that they're not going to explain themselves very well, or they worry that they don't have an explanation to be able to talk through. So if that's a difficult conversation for you, then think about, who do you know that is the best person to start that conversation with? It might be a friend or family member, it might be a colleague, or it might be that you choose to speak to a professional to be able to talk it through. Think about what you need from that conversation. Do you need support? Do you need guidance? Do you need them to problem solve or signpost? Or do you just need them to sit and listen? Sometimes just having somebody sit with us while we talk it through and we unravel it and we give ourselves that time and space to be able to work it through can be really important and a really valuable time and way to have that conversation. As I said at the beginning, these conversations can be very emotional and they can be uncomfortable. So think about, when is a good time to have this conversation. Now, it might be that you think that there's never a good time to start this conversation, but make sure that you've got time and space and privacy to be able to have this conversation and be able to, once you start talking, have that space and time to be able to talk it through without the interruptions, without the distractions, and in a space where you can speak freely. So if you are on the receiving end of somebody who needs to talk, then think about what they might need. Check in with them. What is it that they want from the conversation? So in the same way that the person who's starting that conversation needs to think about what it is that they want, ask that question. It's not a one size fits all. Different people need different things from different conversations. So ask that question. Okay, what do you want from this conversation? How can I best support you? Do you want me to help you to problem solve? Do you want me to help you find somebody who can support you? Or do you want me to just sit and listen? Don't underestimate how powerful just sitting with somebody and giving them that safe space to listen can be. Don't put pressure on yourself to problem solve. Quite often people aren't looking for somebody to solve the problem for them. They're looking for a safe space to talk it through. They're looking for that empowerment and that support and that guidance for them to work through it themselves. And they might recognize that they might need some additional support to do that, but they don't want people to roll up their sleeves and fix. They're not looking necessarily for somebody to fix the problem that they have. So don't take on that responsibility. Quite often it's not what people are looking for, but ask the question, what do you need and how can I best support you? It is good to talk. It might be difficult, it might be uncomfortable, but it is good to talk, and it's also really good to listen to. Hopefully something in there that is helpful to you. If you have questions, feel free to get in touch and I'll be more than happy to answer.